Hello all, this is Sahana here with the topic supplementary factors or supplementary genes. So here supplementary factor or supplementary genes are non-allelic genes here, which means they are independent pair of dominant genes. So obviously this particular topic, that is supplementary factor inheritance or supplementary gene interaction, comes under a non-allelic gene interaction here. So as I said, supplementary factors are non-allelic genes that interact with each other to produce a new trait here. That is, these non-allelic genes are independent pair of dominant genes that interact with each other to produce a new trait. But when one gene is present alone, it produces its own trait. So to simplify this, basically there is two pair of genes here which are obviously non-allelic. One of them are there in two of them are there in different locations of a homologous chromosome, or maybe different chromosomes also. That is also possible here. So there are two pairs of genes which are non-allelic to each other. So when this two genes, they interact with each other, that is only the dominant gene, when they interact with each other, they produce a whole new trait. That is, whole new character is being produced here. But when one of these genes, say this particular gene, when it is present alone, they cannot produce the same character. When this is present alone, they can't produce the same character. Say for example, A and B together produces a red color product. But when B or A, they are present alone, they cannot produce that particular red product. But if the character of allele A is to produce some yellow color, then this produces yellow color in the absence of this particular gene. So this can produce its own color when it is present alone. And this particular gene in recessive condition can produce its own character when it is in homozygous recessive condition, irrespective of the presence or absence of this particular gene B. And what is this gene B is doing is, it only supplements the trait of A. When it supplements the trait A, that produces a new character, that is supplementing the gene A, another dominant gene A, to produce a whole new trait here. So these are the genotypes, all the possible genotypes. So what happens here is, when A and B dominant genes are present together, a new trait is formed. While only dominant allele A is present, then the dominant trait of this particular A allele is being produced. And whenever there is this presence of homozygous recessive condition A, this produces its own character, that the recessive trait is being produced irrespective of the presence of this dominant gene B. And when all these are in homozygous condition, what happens? Anyway, this allele B has no effect. Dominant allele or recessive allele B has no effect at all. Only when B is present, that is the dominant allele B is present with the dominant allele A, only then there is a production of a new trait. When it is in homozygous condition, the recessive trait of A, recessive allele A, is being produced here. So this concept can be better understood with the example. So here, the development of green color, this particular inheritance in maize, is a supplementary factor inheritance type. So here what happens is, the development of green color is governed by two dominant genes, that is dominant allele R and dominant allele P. Now the dominant allele R is essential for red color production. All right, what the question is saying is, the dominant allele R, whenever it is present, that produces red color of the grain. And whenever this R is in homozygous recessive condition, whenever the allele R is in homozygous recessive condition, that ceases the production of red color. which means when there is no dominant allele R, when there is only recessive allele R, then there is no production of red color. Now, the gene P, that is the gene dominant P, is unable to produce any color on its own, but it modifies the color produced by the gene R, that is the gene dominant R, from red to purple. So whenever there is a dominant R, then what is happening? The red color is being produced here. Red color of the green is being produced here. And whenever there is gene P that is adding on to the gene R, then this particular red that is produced from the gene R is getting converted into the purple color green, as the gene P has a influence on it. And the recessive allele P has no effect on the green color. So what can be understood with this paragraph here? The gene P, that is the dominant gene P and the dominant gene, the recessive gene P has no effects on their own. Alright, whenever the dominant gene P is present along with the dominant allele R, only then the P can produce its character, can supplement the character, supplement the production of a new character. Otherwise, they have no color of its own, or they have no effect of their own. Now coming to the question, the homozygous purple grain colored maize plant is crossed with white grained plant. F1 progenies produced were all purple. So here purple parent and the white grained parent is crossed here, and as a result the F1 progenies produced were all purple in color, that the grain color was purple. Now, on selfing the F1 hybrids, that is on selfing these purple progenies, the phenotypic ratio obtained in F2 generation was 9:3:4, which means all the three colors have been produced here, that is red, purple and white have been produced here. The question also says the type of interaction is supplementary factor type. So, since the ratio is available and the parental types are available, we'll easily move on to the crosses here. Before moving on to the crosses, we need to analyze the question, right? So the question says whenever R, dominant R is present, that produces a red color of the grain. And whenever there is dominant allele P that is present along with the dominant allele R, then the red is converted into purple grain color. So that is what the analysis here. And whenever the recessive allele R is present in homozygous condition, then the grain color remains white. What actually happens here is there is a white substance which is governed by the homozygous recessive alleles R. Whenever there is presence of dominant either homozygous or heterozygous R gene, then this white substrate is gets converted into red product here, and which in turn acts as a substrate for the gene P. And whenever gene P is present with availability of the red product, then the red product is getting converted into purple product here. Here in case there is no presence of gene R, then what happens? When there is only homozygous R here that produces white substrate, and there is only gene P, that is the dominant gene P, then there is no formation of purple product without this intermediate product here. Now, this is the crosses. So the cross said the homozygous purple grain color maize plant. So homozygous in the sense, as the question says, we need to take the homozygous genotypes here. So this is a purple parent, and then this is a white parent, which is obviously R here. So the selection of genotypes here is, this says homozygous. So I have taken this R and P in homozygous condition. So when the purple color is whenever the purple color need to be produced, then there should be the presence of at least one copies of R and P dominant alleles here. But since the question says it is homozygous condition, I have taken it as homozygous condition here. And when the white color the white color grain can be produced whenever there is homozygous recessive alleles are, irrespective of the presence or absence of the dominant allele P here. But since there is already dominant allele P present in this particular parent, we'll be taking this as recessive P here. Now these genotypes, they segregate into different gametes here, and these gametes fuse to form the F1 hybrid in the heterozygous condition, and the phenotype purple grain color here. And these purple F1 hybrids are treated as F2 parents here, and here the genes, they segregate and independently assort into the different gametes here, and these gametes are taken on either sides of the Punnett square. And first, the genetic constitution of the all possible phenotype, progenies are written in the given boxes here. Now, before assigning the phenotypes, we'll have to just look into the genotypes here. What the supplementary interaction says: whenever two independent dominant genes are present together, a new trait is being produced. That is what happened here in F1 generation. So whenever at least one copy of two dominant genes is present together, then the color will be purple. That is how these 9 genotypes produce a single phenotype, that is purple grain color. Now coming to these 3 genotypes, it has only dominant allele R, and there is no dominant allele P to supplement this particular character of this dominant allele R from red to purple. So what happens here is there is only production of red color. That is, there is white substrate, and with the presence of dominant gene R, the red product is being produced here. So there is no dominant allele P to supplement this particular path here. That is, to convert red to purple, there is no supplementary gene that is present. That is how these 3 are red. Now coming to these 4 genotypes here, the R genes are in homozygous recessive condition. So the question said the R gene in homozygous recessive condition ceases the production of red product. That is, it retains its white character irrespective of the presence or absence of the dominant allele P, or the presence of irrespective of the presence of or absence of the supplementary gene here. So these supplementary gene cannot supplement the recessive allele R here. So what happens as a result? Though they are present, they have no effect on the recessive alleles R here. So the white color is being produced here in all these 4 genotypes. So that is how we have the F2 phenotypic ratio 9:3:4 with the phenotypes purple is to red is to white. Now moving on to the second example. Here, inheritance of seed coat color in Lublub, that is Indian bean, is being studied for the supplementary factor inheritance here. So again, it has 2 genes, dominant K and dominant L, which governs the inheritance of or development of seed coat color in Indian bean. Now, in the recessive state, the second or supplementary gene is L is supplementary gene here. So, in recessive condition, so this particular L gene in recessive condition, right, has no effect on seed coat color. When L is in recessive condition, it has no effect on seed coat color. And dominant K independently produces khaki color. Alright, when dominant K is present alone without this particular supplementary gene, that produces khaki color of seed coat. While its recessive allele, that is, whenever the recessive allele K is present, that gives buff color. Buff color is a kind of yellowish tone of color. So the recessive allele K gives buff color irrespective of the supplementary gene being dominant or recessive. So that's what. Whenever both the alleles or recessive allele K is present, then there is no matter of this supplementary gene being present or absent. It always produces its recessive character. Now, in the dominant state, the supplementary gene, in the dominant state, it can be homozygous or heterozygous. It changes the effect of dominant allele of pigment forming gene K into chocolate color, which means whenever the supplementary gene, that is whenever the supplementary gene in its dominant condition is present with the dominant allele K, then what happens? It produces a new trait called chocolate color of the seed coat in Indian bean plant here. So that being said, moving on to the question, Lublab plants with seed coat color khaki is crossed to the one with buff colored seed coat, which means a khaki colored seed coated parent is crossed with a buff colored seed coated parent. Now, the F1 hybrids were of chocolate colored, right? When khaki and buff colored seed coated plants were crossed, the F1 hybrid obtained were chocolate colored seed coat. And these F1 progenies are self to obtain three phenotypic classes with the ratio 9:3:4. Now, moving on to the analysis. Here, it's obvious that whenever two dominant alleles are present, that is, whenever the dominant supplementary gene is present with the dominant allele K, there is a production of new seed coat color, that is chocolate color. And whenever the dominant allele K is present independently, it produces its dominant character, that is khaki seed coat color. And when the allele K is in its recessive condition, then a buff colored seed coat is being produced. With that, moving on to the crosses here. So here the parents are khaki and buff color. So the genotype selection is like, when is the khaki color is being produced? Whenever there is only the presence of dominant allele. That is, whenever the dominant allele K is independent, only then the khaki color is being produced here. So there should not be presence of the dominant supplementary gene here. That's how we are taking dominant K and then recessive L here. And buff color is produced when the allele K is in recessive condition, irrespective of the homozygosity or heterozygosity of the dominant allele L here. So it's also being said that F1 generation has chocolate colored. Whenever there's the presence of both the alleles, both the dominant alleles, only then the chocolate color is being produced. That is how we are taking it as dominant K for khaki and then buff color with the recessive allele K and dominant allele L here, because that doesn't matter. This has no effect at all. That is why I'm taking it here, and that segregates into the gametes, and when these gametes fuse, there is a formation of F1 hybrid with the heterozygous condition of genes, and that produces chocolate seed coat color with the presence of one copy of both the dominant alleles here. That is, this supplementary gene in its dominant condition is supplementing the gene K to produce the chocolate color seed coat here. And these F1 hybrids are treated as F2 parents, and then the gamete is being formed here. All the genes are segregating and independently assorting into different gametes, and these possible gametes are taken in the checkerboard on both the sides, and then the genetic constitution of the progenies are F2 progenies are filled in here. Even here it is the same rule, that is, whenever there is a presence of both the dominant alleles, then there is a production of new trait, that is chocolate color is being produced. So these 9 genotypes produces a single phenotype, that is chocolate color. And when coming to these 3 genotypes, that is with the dominant K and recessive L, So here it is homozygous K and here it is heterozygous K, but at least it has one copy of dominant allele K. So ultimately the product or the seed coat formed is of khaki color. And then here both the recessive allele K, that is there is no dominant allele K, which means it's all recessive, and the recessive character should be produced irrespective of the presence or absence of the dominant allele L, which is a supplementary gene here. So here buff color is being produced in all these four genotypes, as there is only recessive allele K that is being present. So that is how the F2 phenotypic ratio of this particular supplementary gene inheritance or supplementary factor inheritance is 9:3:4, with the phenotypes chocolate seed coat color and khaki seed coat color and buff seed coat color. So that is about the supplementary gene interaction.